Hey guys, and welcome to another iteration of Buckman's Model Mania. Forgot my name. Forgot my own channel's name for a minute. Buckman's Model Mania. Welcome to another, uh, not live stream, but just um, update or actually initial on the NSEA Protector. For anybody who has not seen Galaxy Quest, it is the ship that they fly in the Galaxy Quest. It's a very unique looking ship. It's pretty cool. It's almost not made for lighting, but it is. It's got some clear parts to it. It's got some spaces in it, but the way that the ship is set up, the way the model is set up, it's really hard to get lighting in there. I actually stopped working on this kit about 3 years ago. I've taken everything that was put together back apart so that I can put lights in it. I was going to use either 3mm or 5mm LEDs initially. Now I'm going to be using SMDs. They're going to fit in there a lot better. They're going to light it up a lot better. And I'm better at modeling, so I have actually looked at some of the parts that the pins that are in the model that are redundant for support. So I've cut some out, and I'm still going to cut some more out when as I go further. So first, let me show you what the parts are, and this is the body, the stand, the mid wing, the two wings. This is a detachable command ship, and some extra parts. This here is just the what's left of the fret from Paragraphics, the photo etch for it. I've used all the photo etch on it except for one piece that was right here. I'm not going to be using the shuttle bay. It's just too small. I don't want to cut any more of the model out. So I've kind of built it to let you see what it looks like, but I'm not actually going to be using it in the model. So this is an update video, kind of get you caught up to where I am right now. And all these pictures, unfortunately, I don't have any pictures from when I first started working on the model. So I don't have any pictures when I was drilling out these holes or these holes, putting in the fiber optics here, which they've actually aged. It looks to me poorly. I'm gonna have to see if they're actually gonna work for what I need. I may have to actually push all of them out once I repaint. So let me show you what I've done recently. This here is the what the two wings look like. On the left side, you can see where I've already started cutting the grill, if you want to call it that, the windows out, because those have got to be completely removed. And I didn't realize this for a long time. I thought the photo etch went under there, but those had the windows looking areas have to be cut out completely, and actually almost cut the framing area, shaved down to match the rest of the plastic around it. This was a little dicey. Here on the left, you can see that same window where I've actually cut it down. And you can see on the lower right, it's a little bit raised. It's not going to look too bad when it's done. I've already gone in and re-glued all of these, or cut all the windows out, and glued the photo etch on top, and it looks pretty good. This is just to show where you can see on the upper right, lower left, that's where a pin used to be. That pin had to be cut out to be able to put this together and actually have it light. Otherwise, you've got these big shadows on those windows and it's going to look terrible. But if you look, there's 8 other pins holding this piece together, plus that piece that sticks out to the left-hand side will have a part that slides over top of it to help pinch this wing together. Plenty of support in this model. There's huge amounts. There's ridiculous amounts of support for the size of the model it is. So this is a picture of where I've got the first window cut out, and I've just got the grill sitting on top of it. I think that's going to look really sharp. I actually taped over the window or the grills before I put them onto the model, so that basically to keep from to be kind of a mask, so that I went back and repainted both wings so that the spots where I dinged it up, where you can see down on the lower right, this paint's a little bit dinged. I repainted so that those spots would be a little bit easier to clear up. And this is with the two wings are put back together. The right wing, both the top and bottom windows have been cut out. The left wing, the windows are not cut out. This is the tops of the wing, or sorry, excuse me, this is the bottoms of the wings. The one on the right has been repainted, they're glued, the part is repainted, and I've pulled the tape off. I think it looks pretty sharp, especially for the size it is. I'll decide later if I'm really going to keep it brass or not. I might do a little bit of fill around it, but if I do, then it's going to get interesting because I've already put in the blue backing to the windows, so I can't really repaint it unless I remask. And this is what the main body of the ship looks like when it's pushed together. The board that's in there, I'm probably not going to put in there. It's a blinker board. I was going to put some blinking marker lights in the model, but I don't think I'm going to, because I don't think it looks at the scale. I think that any marker that I put on there is going to be way too bright. So let me switch back to the, actually we're going to switch to this camera. So here you see the base. It comes molded just in the regular color plastic. I've painted it black and blue. I'm not going to try and paint the stars. I might, actually. I don't think I'm going to try and paint the stars, the ringed planet, or the Galaxy Quest. I think it looks good just the way it is. When you can see it, actually, you can see what it says really well. And like I said, this model was one I quit a long time ago. This is actually what it looks like about 3 years down the road after it was painted. So let me set that off to the side. Here is what I would call the mid-wing, and if you look, let me see if I can get this apart. Look at the size of those pins. They're huge, and they're to hold a very small model together. These are going to be important because these actually are the ones that hold the mid-wing together plus the main ship itself. And here on the edges, put that in camera. Here on the edges, there's two pins and a slotted piece that hold the wings on. These two slot in together like this. This part goes into the main body of the ship and then slides down on here, holding the whole thing together. And if you look, there's very little space for wiring, but the mid-wing has enough of a gap that I can get magnet wire in through there. Put that aside. This is what in the movie they called the command section. It was, it's kind of like a yacht thing that breaks off from the ship at the end of the movie. There's the photo etch pieces that are for it. I put them on. These are the ones you're going to see. You're not going to see these because I'm actually going to be gluing this down to the top of the model. The base of the command ship has a spot for a magnet here and a magnet here, as does this. It used to. I cut this off because this is where I'm going to be putting the strip lighting to light the interior of the model, light the windows inside. This actually fits in right here. So with the LED strip here, that's going to hit these fiber optics pretty good. If I even leave the fiber optics in, I may just take them out completely. Then all these little holes here I did drilled out because I'm lighting the interior there. That was an interesting prospect because if you look, you've got this post here and there's really nowhere to put an LED in there, at least on initial look. Right now I'm hooking up the LED that's going in there to a power supply. And as always, the LED is going to blow out the camera if I can keep it connected to the power. So I'm putting a 5mm LED inside there. And it's pretty significant size to go inside of the ship. But there, see, here's this post here, and I'm wrapping it around the post like that, wires running out the back. I'm not sure if that's, I don't think that's showing up very well on camera. Let me see if I, oh, not that. If I put the bottom on, does it show a little bit better? Hopefully it'll show later. Okay, there. That shows pretty good right here. And you can't really see it from what I can see on the camera, but here in the front, it really does have some pretty good light. Matter of fact, saw it there for a second. You can see the lighting in there. I'm not sure if I'm going to put any glue or canopy glue or anything in there to help drag the light through. This was actually a lot of work. There's a ton of holes there, and they're all really, really small. So let me pull this LED off because I've got another one that I'm going to be showing. Put this over here in the parts bin. Ah yes, while I'm thinking about it. That photo etch there backs this up. I love that effect of the photo etch there. I've not yet done any lighting yet. I'm still trying to, for these, I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to be able to light it, because it's a very cramped spot, which I'll be showing you in a few minutes. And that blue there goes on the back, which then, well, let me rehook that LED up so you can see what it actually looks like from behind when it's lit from behind. So with the lighting from behind, I really think that's a pretty cool effect. But I don't want a hot spot like that. I'm going to light it from like over off to the side. And it's probably going to be at least 2 to 3 LEDs in here, one in each third, but something like that. If I can get it all the way across, that's the kind of lighting effect I want. And that part there, let me go ahead and get these out of the way. Put this back in here. This is just a spine of the aircraft, spine of the ship. It goes here behind the command yacht. And what's going to make it so hard to light those grills up is the amount of pins in this area. This is where the part goes. This is the small pin and the slot mechanism for the mid wing to hold the wing on. That's all that in my opinion, that should be there. I'm going to cut out this post, and that socket so that I've actually got somewhere to put some lighting in the model. Because if you look at this, I'm not going to push it in because these fit tight. This is almost a snap tight kit. So if you look in here, if you know anything about lighting, there is not enough room to put decent lighting right up there in the front. So when I remove this part over here, when I remove that, I may only remove the front one because back in the back there is no lighting. that should give me a little bit better opportunity to light from behind that grill and this blue plastic piece, or we'll just call it the engine. It is similar to the Bussard collectors at the front of any of the Enterprise ships. But once that's lit, I think that's going to be really cool, especially with the brass in there. Unfortunately, the back of the engine, instead of having anything that you can light, it's just this plastic piece, nothing clear. I'm going to just do some lighting effects. Not even lighting effects. I'm just going to put some red paint in there. I may see if I can light it, using a Raytheon effect by putting some red LEDs back here, but probably not. And it's the same on both sides. This area is just too congested to be able to light very well. So let me see if I can get this back apart. And that's the other thing, is that, like I said, it is very difficult the way they did this to be able to pop those pins in and out. And they're not getting any easier the more I open it. Fortunately, I haven't broken any, and I'm not expecting to, because I'm very careful with how I take these apart. Matter of fact, I'm going to let that one be. This one, I'm going to see if I can get a good demonstration of the lighting effect I'm going to put in here. I should be able to get at least one side. So what I'm going to be using is some SMDs, very small LEDs, surface-mounted diodes. And let me hook up power to them. It's amazing how much light these little things put out. I mean, that literally is just as bright as the LED. It's just really small. Just as bright as the 5mm I just had. And so what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to glue at least one, maybe two of these. Grab the cord here so it stops pulling. I have a really long cord on my power supply. It's about leads. They're about 6 feet long. And I'm going to put back to what I was saying, I'm going to put the LEDs down in this recessed area, which is the opposite of that bump right there. Best I can. And when I'm gluing them in, it should be just fine. Just like that, maybe a little bit closer there. Put two of them in there. Not sure if you can see the gap I had to cut. Let's switch. So right here, I had to cut a gap because this wall is solid all the way across when you put these parts together. So like I was saying, that is going to go in there like that. This is going to sit on top. I'm just going to set it on there, not actually glue it, or not actually pin it in. And you can see right there, it's going to have a pretty good glow. Should be a good glow top and bottom from there. And I'm going to do the same thing in the back. I'm trying not to have a hot spot, and by putting them on the top of the ship instead of the bottom, something I learned on my Voyager that I'm still working on, in the nacelles, instead of, traditionally when you do lighting on Star Trek nacelles, you'll put the LED strip on the bottom. And then when you look at it, you can see that LED strip because you're above it. So I put it on the top instead, and it's doing the same thing here, so that when you look at it from above, the hot spot is going to be down on the bottom of the model where you're not actually going to see it. So that'll go in there like that. The LED will light these up, and I think it'll look really good. One thing I've got left after that is to get these whiskers, hopefully when I put the LED right up next to them, the light will carry out. I'll have to put that together. Before I can glue it, I'm going to have to double check and make sure it's going to work okay. I'll have to look at it in subdued lighting. If not, I'm going to have to go back and re-drill out each of these holes, and some of them actually you can see, not on this one I don't think. Let me double check. Yeah, not on this one, but here the LED actually has the fiber optic has broken off right there, that black spot. And so once I get the ship sealed up, I'll do another coat of paint on top of it, because some of it is pretty thin. It's kind of rough, especially on the edges. And I'll seal it up. I'll do some seam work, and then I'll paint over it. If I'm getting light out before I paint over it, it should be fine, because then these strips these fibers will still carry the light out. I'll just shave these all off, and then I'll put it back put it onto the rest of the wing. So one part of the photo etch that I'm not going to use is this right here. It's a hangar bay, and you saw the hangar bay in the movie a little bit, but that's just tiny. That is so tiny. I'm not going to bother to put that in there. This model is, instead of like the Enterprises with the hangar bays, they're 1 to 350. This is 1 to 1400. This is 1/4 scale of those. And for that to go in there, I would have to cut out here, which it wouldn't be hard, but putting lights back here would really suck. So I'm not even going to bother with that. And a couple of weird things that they've done on this model is these two little pieces kind of form a half barrel. And there's no real good way to get wires up into the model, because this part here is what snaps onto the ball here. So when I get to that point, I want to make sure to video what I do, because I take, wow, that's gonna, yeah, it popped them apart before it actually joined, before it actually went on there. What I do sometimes with kits like this that don't have a really good spot to feed a wire into them, I take the Arduino plugs and I'll put the female side into the model, like somewhere back here on the bottom of the ship. I'll put this female side in, and that female side will correspond, right will be red, left will be black. That way I know how to plug the wires in from my power supply. And is there anything else? A couple of things. There's one of the wing tips. So the radar dish at the front. And oh yeah, in the movie they had some really neat little lighting, kind of like impulse grills on an Enterprise type model. That would be it right there. I am not going to try and light that. I'm going to put some, come on, focus. I'm going to try and put a little bit of red paint in those slots. Actually, I can probably show it better with the wing parts, because they have them too. Right here. When the wing is pushed together, these pieces line up like that one right there. I'm not going to try and put red LEDs in there or strip tape or anything. I'm just going to paint it red and be happy with it. So that's where I'm at on the NSEA Protector from Galaxy Quest. If I finish this model before the end of the year, that will make 19 models I've built this year. I'm shooting for 20. I've got the Voyagers most of the way done, and I've got 12 days to go. Should be able to. It's just, a lot of it's going to be just a matter of putting things together and doing touch-up paints. This is going to go together really quick. This probably will be done by Monday. Because I've built a paint drying booth, so these parts I actually painted, and I'm using rattle can because it's just a simple white paint. But I painted them using a rattle can, put them into that paint drying booth, turned on the fan, and 2 hours later I was able to handle the parts without leaving fingerprints. Pretty impressive as far as I'm concerned. So that's all I've got for you right now. Look for another video of this model in the next day or so. Should be the finale. Might not be. If it's not the finale in the next one's not the finale, it's probably going to be a top of 3, and then I'm going to do the Voyager finish up videos, and should be good. Like I said, I plan on doing 20 models by the end of the year. If I do, regardless of whether I do or not, I'm going to bring them all to the bench here, and I'm going to. Here's the list of the ones that I finished this year. I'm going to do a video showing what I've done this year because I'm really impressed with myself. I usually take about 8 months to a year and a half to finish a model because just too much else going on. And now I'm up to 18 right now this year. Not all of them are lit. Not all of them are painted. So I got a snap together or two in there. I got a couple of fun models. But it's still, I think it's a pretty good accomplishment. So with that, I'm going to call this one done. Everybody have a great day. Have a great evening if it's evening. And if you watch this before Christmas, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.